Welcome, everybody. Hello to another episode of Game On. I am joined by my lovely co-host, resident evil aficionado, HD Guy. Hello there, sir.
Hello there, and hello to everyone. Did you just call me lovely?
Yes, but I bet you're lovely. Are
Oh,
you
well,
not?
thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay. And the soon to be, and also being joined by the soon to be lovely. It
Ooh.
is Jontis. Welcome back, sir. How are you?
Hello, hello. Yes, I'm doing well. Like I said, warm but well.
Mm.
Correct. Yes, it is true what they say that the British people don't handle the heat well.
No, not the heat we have here. It's more of like a really hot fart constantly these
Oh,
Okay.
days.
wow.
Not the lovely cool
That's
breeze of like the tropics that would be helping the humidity.
yeah.
Okay. That is definitely one way to put it. The what's the British humidity is like a wet fart. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm feeling it.
Beautiful.
All
There we go.
right,
Very descriptive.
all right, gentlemen. So the subject today, as we know, is the PlayStation console legacy. So we'll jump right into it. What was your first experience with the PlayStation console, and how did it shape your gaming journey? HD, why don't you take this?
Man, I think it was 97, if I
Hmm.
remember correctly. And it was actually, I used to have a Sega that time, if I remember correctly. And a cousin of mine who stayed a few blocks down the road, he always used to come visit, and he brought one day because we played games together, and one day he brought his this new thing, this PlayStation One, to me,
Hmm.
and it just I absolutely blew my mind. Obviously, as a little 12-year-old me,
Hmm.
or 11 actually, I think I was 11 that time. I didn't understand what I was seeing. And I had that classic moment like, how can graphics get better than this? One of those things that just absolutely blew my mind.
Hmm.
The game that he played first for me was Final Fantasy VII.
Hmm.
He had Croc, Legend of the Gobos, and he had Crash Bandicoot, if I remember correctly. I might be mistaken with the year, but it was around that time.
Hmm.
And I mean, needless to say, I was hooked at that time. I knew exactly what I wanted. Uh, and I think I got it Christmas that year. So it must have been 97, if I remember correctly. But man, yeah, it's been all uphill from there. As a gamer, I think that I was always a gamer, but I think that really, well, for lack of a better term, shaped me into the obsessive one that I am today.
Hmm.
So yeah, that
Okay, and Jontis, how did you get into this?
Well, the PlayStation 1, I think, was the first proper console I owned and enjoyed and like really had a connection with. But I did get introduced with Master System and Duck Hunt with my
Hmm.
dad.
oh yeah.
The first light gun game kind of thing, and then I can't really remember a lot. I think it would have been like 98, 99, because I'm a 94 baby, so I would have been about 5, 6 when I first kind of got involved with gaming. But I think
Mm.
that one of my biggest memories is Hiko, who comes into my channel sometimes. Jordan, he's a bit of an idiot, but I've known him since he was young. I used to go around his house all the time, and he had a PS1 and he bought Metal Gear, Army Men, Sergeant's Heroes, all these other things.
Oh
And Metal Gear, I just vividly remember the intro of him coming out the water, messing with what I thought were ghosts, because they're actually guards, but I thought they were ghosts. Picking up
yeah.
little cardboard boxes. I thought you were some kind of ninja, muscular dude running around. I thought, oh my god, these graphics are amazing! Like,
Yeah.
what is this? I mean,
Hmm.
at the time, Metal Gear actually was like The Last of Us 2 kind of
Oh, for
level.
sure. For
Um,
sure.
and it was like, oh my god, this is insane. And I loved the kind of UI. I didn't know what it was called at the time, but like the flicking between weapons and items, sneaking around. I thought, this isn't just running around a corridor shooting people like Doom or like Duck Hunt or Bubble Bobble on Master System where I used to play.
Hmm.
Um, it's like this has a story. Like this is like watching a film, but I'm playing as the guy. Like I'm a hero kind of thing, and I just loved it. I have a vivid memory of when I first got my own copy of the game on PS1 just waiting from 9 o'clock when school started all the way till 3 o'clock in the afternoon to get home, run and be like, I've got the stealth suit now, and I thought it would look like green jelly. And I remember vividly, like, Otacon I got like really attached to, and I think that's kind of, I grew into Otacon for a while. I've come away from Otacon a bit now, but I remember failing to like never get Meryl. I could never get past the torture scene. Apart from that, demo discs were a big thing. Like the actual controller, I remember like breaking a lot of them just through overuse. First having the analogs and stuff, but yeah, it was definitely late 90s. Parents and friend got me into it, and I think because I've attached to that, like, it's a bit like that Inside Out, isn't it? Like a core memory. Is it Inside Out?
It's just about it is Inside Out.
It is Inside Out. Yeah.
And that, yeah.
It's like you can see it. You can see that.
I'll always you physically see it. It's like, go Riley, and it's like chucking you. But literally, like, I'll always be attached to PlayStation. I've always thought the aesthetic, the design, the UI, the games, it's constantly bangers. PS3 had a wobble, but it did a lot of artistic, different kind of games.
Yes, 100%.
And it didn't always pay off, but they tried. And Xbox One kind of tried to do that, and it didn't really pay off all the time.
Xbox One or Xbox?
Xbox One, as in like the third Xbox.
Oh, okay. Xbox One.
We've each had generations that not really worked out, but I think the closest to the PS2 generation, which I think was above PS1, I think PS4 is the closest I've ever got. PS5 feels like PS1.
Hard to say.
In many ways, they're trying new things. It's like a big. Oh my god, this is an amazing generation, but it's had a lot of misses as well. But anyway.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that a lot of other people are making their core memories now on this console.
Yeah,
True. I'm trying to think.
Yeah,
well, I
know.
I
always felt like it was very like, I hear what you say. Like PlayStation, they just did it right, man. Like their marketing, the aesthetic, like you said, and the games that they came out with, and
it's even
the
like
risks
the blue
that they took. It was just
green. Like, I prefer the color blue. I like that the new console is white and it's not going with grey or black. Like, it's loads of little things like that. Like, it's weird. It looks like a Wi-Fi box, and it needs a slim version, the PS5. But
we'll get into the PS5 and Jontis is doing an HD here and jumping ahead.
What's yours, Danny?
Mine was.
What's your experience?
Well, let's see. Obviously, like any of us here, I had a Sega Mega Drive back in the day, and that for me was like that blew my mind. And then my mother had just gone to Australia to see some family, and when she came back, she had bought me the PlayStation 1 because tax write-offs. You don't pay tax over there, so it was cheaper to buy there. And first game, Crash Bandicoot 2, and the minute I start playing, dude, I knew this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life.
So I know Crash 3 Warped. I have the same memory.
It was the thing. I think that really blew my mind. Well, apart from like 3D, air quotations, was that you could actually save on this console. People don't know the struggle when you had a Sega Mega Drive. If you switched that off, you lost everything and you had to start from the beginning.
You worked with codes, man. Codes for the stages that take you to
but some games didn't have codes. Yeah, but some games didn't have codes.
Didn't have it,
and that just blew my mind.
The concept of saving wasn't there because the concept of progress and returning to a game was in there. You return to it to play it again, or see how far you could get. But I never thought of it actually.
I think some of those games, I think those games like for the Mega Drive would be maybe if you had to speed run it, maybe you could finish in 3 or 4 hours. But like you, an 8-year-old toddler, you don't know what the hell you're doing. So, but
jeez, you were an 8-year-old toddler.
It's the way, it's the way. My way of shut up, HD.
I always knew you were a big baby. I always knew it.
You know what? Some could argue that I am still a big baby, especially my wife.
Just about to say that.
Yes. There's mods ban HD. When I get mods, I'm gonna ban you. Okay. So we'll established what our first experience was with PlayStation consoles. Apart from like what you've just both of you had just said, can you share any standout memories or favorite games from each generation of a PlayStation console? I'm going to throw this to Jontis, and what we're going to do is, Jontis, you say one game from the PlayStation 1, then HD, then me, and we take turns. Like from each console, we rotate.
Okay.
That way we all
Can we
all
do
get.
a set one game as like 100% favorite memory, but like some worthy mentions quickly?
Of course, yes. No, I'm not that
For
strict.
sure.
You know what? No, Jontis, no. One game. I'm
Just
joking.
one.
I'm
Just give me
joking. I'm joking. Go off.
But I think you're right. Like a defining standout memory again, Metal Gear Solid 1, but with a very very close nod to Dino Crisis because that's a big thing. Medieval 2, Army Men, The Mummy. PS1 has way too
The
many.
Mummy.
But if I had to go right, you can only play one game on PS1 on that generation, or you have to pick one memory. Metal Gear Solid 1 has the most memories for me. It's like your brain connected, like your neurons connected when that game, that kind of thing. Do you want me to go through every generation, or we're going back and forth?
We're going back and forth, like I say. It's like HD now, then me, and then when we go back to you, PlayStation 2.
I think, you see, my favorite game versus the one that had the most impact on me, or the biggest impact on me, I suppose, is different. I know it sounds weird, but it's not. But I think the one that had the biggest impact on me, because it's still, very much today. I think I want to say Crash Bandicoot, like you mentioned as well, because that's between that and Final Fantasy, was my first experience. And that, again, what made me decide this is my hobby. This is what I'm going to do, like you said, for the rest of my life. And I mean, it's to the point that I'm still playing Crash Bandicoot with my kids now. You know what I mean? And although I think I might be also skipping questions here. Because that was the I think you said iconic franchise was one of the questions. No, I think that was, sorry, I'm pulling the HD.
As always.
As always. Okay, but favorite game on PS1 era, I mean, it's safe to say it was Resident Evil. Again, like John said, there's many games, and me as a horror aficionado, I'd like to think at least, or someone that just loves horror. A lot of the horror games we mentioned it on previous podcasts, like games like Nightmare Creatures, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, Dino Crisis, Galerians, a few other odd ones, but Resident Evil, of course, has to be the number one, and the one that might have impacted me the most. Also, gave me my favorite game genre, basically, survival horror. But man, it's hard. Metal Gear is there. Silent Hill is there.
Okay, gun to your head. Gun to your head, HD. You gotta give me the game that influenced you the most. Isn't Resident Evil? You gonna go with that?
It's so hard, but Resident Evil.
That's what she said.
That is what she said. She said Resident Evil, right?
Yeah. Now the thing is,
it was hard.
For me as well. Like, and I just see when it gets to me now. I also stumble in that pitfall of name a game.
It's difficult, bro. It's hard.
It's true. I mean, like I said, Crash Bandicoot 2 for me was so wild, so
good.
Bro. And then you put me onto Resident Evil. Like I didn't finish the first one, but for some reason it stayed with me. And that day that I was walking to the game shop and I saw Resident Evil 2, common sense would say, well, why would you buy this? The first one you didn't finish, and it scared the shit out of you. And now why would you play the second one? But common sense that day wasn't with me. It never is. And dude, Resident Evil 2, I'll have to be Resident Evil 2 for me if I have to name a game. I mean, like Jontis as well. Honorable mentions to Metal Gear, Crash Bandicoot 2. There's so many. But Resident Evil 2, the running down the street towards the police station is chef's kiss. It's so iconic in every way. It's if you have, it's something you had to be there to understand.
For
I don't know
sure.
if,
For sure,
you know.
for sure. You can't retrospectively play it. You had to be
Yes,
there at that time in the 90s and experience that. Where
exactly.
games were at that time. No, 100% dude.
Yeah, yeah. So,
100%.
so for me, I'm gonna say Resident Evil 2. All right, Jontis, let's go for PlayStation 2 now.
PlayStation 2, okay. One combined memory of two games
Mhm.
that is like big is a Harry Potter and the Prisoners of Azkaban and Simpsons Hit and Run, given to me by my
Ooh.
auntie who passed away a few years ago
Mhm.
on my birthday. So the whole experience with those games are like super nostalgic and like filled me with memories. So I think that would be one of the biggest ones.
Mhm.
But Metal Gear Solid 3 is my favourite game of
Oh,
all
man.
time, and it
Oh,
did come
dude.
out on PS2, so they're literally like neck and neck for different
Uh,
reasons I
I just,
cannot pick between.
I just want to tell our audience I do apologize for Jontis. He has terrible taste when it comes to Metal Gear games. We all know that two
I
is far
tell you,
superior.
there is nothing to apologize. And
Everyone knows that two is vastly superior, and I will not take questions at this time. Okay, I'm sorry for
okay.
interrupting you. Keep cooking, Jono. Keep cooking.
But yeah, I think they're like the biggest kind of memories, I guess. Like the PS2 has that kind of era where it was like game. Like I was picking up pre-owned games, brand new games.
Hmm.
It was kind of that thing where I'd save a bit of my own pocket money and buy something. But I mean, yeah, again, the Metal Gear series big on that. There was obviously Resident Evil 4. I didn't particularly love that. I prefer the remake, but it
Hmm.
was like a big cultural thing, and it was the first Steelbook I ever got as well. Um,
Ooh.
Trying to remember other PS2 games, to be honest.
Yeah, true, eh? I'm just struggling myself, and I'd
And
like to think
it's definitely the most memorable era. But PS1 is
mm,
like far more nostalgic and kind of what you kind of
for sure,
kind.
100%. That's where it started,
I'm
and
trying to
two
think.
two
Oh,
was like the
War of the
sequel.
Monsters. That was a great PS2 game. There was a lot. It was a lot of sequels. A lot of like games getting like a new coat of paint and
Hmm.
Yeah,
progressing. Um, God, it's really hard because I was more of a 360 guy for a while as well.
Hmm.
sis. But that was PS3, hey? That was
Yeah,
Yes,
that was like
PS3.
that's
That was
opposite
PS3.
PS3 as well.
Yeah,
I was trying to think. I don't know why mine's gone blank on PS2
yeah.
games.
Mine's drawing a blank as well. But I mean, you
Oh,
actually picked my one.
Star Wars Battlefront 2. That was another big
Oh,
one.
Ooh.
nice.
I never
That
played
is
Um,
that,
really.
unfortunately.
but yeah, it's one of them eras where I bet I'll be like, oh my god, why didn't I say that? Why didn't I say that then?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But my mind has drawn a blank on that, so I'm gonna sit with those two
Yeah.
memories.
No,
Okay.
one day, Jontis, you and I will prepare for these podcasts. One day.
I
It's
mean,
not today.
I only sent you these questions like a week in advance. You
Hey, when
assholes.
I sent you that message earlier, that's when I read them. You know what I
Ah,
mean?
good
But
lord. All right,
I'm
HD.
gonna have to go. I'm gonna go and even agree with Jontis actually, and this was actually one that I had in my mind
Mm-hmm.
was Snake Eater, and I think it's also ironic that I picked that as my favorite game of that era because I never finished it. I
Mm-hmm.
never finished it. I got to just before the boss. So I finished
Okay.
Valgren. I got pretty far, but man, that because I was obviously like Jontis, we seem to have a we seem to have very similar tastes in games and what is iconic for us. I never played Metal Gear Solid 2. I know, yes, you
2 I
may
hated.
Heresy.
berate, you
When it
may
first came out, I
continue,
hated it.
you may berate me now,
Yeah. Yes.
but
Trust me, I
and
will.
it's so it's crazy because that was considered by a lot of people like yourself, Danny, to be the
Mm,
best, along with, say, for instance, Silent Hill 2,
mm.
Oh my god, I just remembered like a
which
host of PS2 games. Like Vice City. Sorry.
oh yeah,
Like
Vice
GTA
City, dude.
3.
Yes, that was that actually that was iconic because I was really big into GTA as well. Grand Theft Auto at the time it wasn't really known as GTA. It was more like everyone said Grand Theft Auto, the
Mm-hmm.
top down one. But when 3 came out, oh, that blew my mind. I saw it the first time on PC though, so that wouldn't sort of classify as a PlayStation memory for me. But Vice City,
Mm-hmm.
I had the PS2 version of that. When PS2 disc still came out with. Do you remember the platinum? There were platinum
Yeah.
games like where games
True.
were. I think they sold X
They were
amount
called the
and then they turned
Platinum
platinum.
Collection, yeah.
Yeah, and then they were like slightly cheaper, and the discs were grey, or silver. They didn't have the pictures on and stuff. Anyway, now Vice City, but I think Snake Eater for sure. Resident Evil 4, I agree. It didn't, tickle my fancies like the OG trilogy, but it was good. And I think PS2 was like you mentioned, it was just the next level for PlayStation, and it was a host of sequels, games. Like you said, got the new coat of paint with all their sequels. While the console was a sequel and upgraded itself, a lot of the games were upgraded as well. But yeah, so I'm going to go with Metal Gear.
Okay.
Snake
Well,
Eater.
like you say, the console for PlayStation 2 was an upgrade in every sense. It had backwards compatibility, so you could play your PlayStation 1 games, which was a huge advantage, and it was a DVD player. For those who don't know, I didn't know this at the time, but obviously, during the years of just consuming gaming information, that at that time a PlayStation 2 was cheaper than a DVD player. Can you wrap your head around that?
Yeah.
That's crazy. But anyway,
Wow.
my games for PlayStation 2 will have to be Medal of Honor Frontline Assault. And HD knows where I'm coming
I
from
know.
because
Oh,
we
man, we played that.
we had just come
played that a
from
lot.
seeing Saving Private Ryan, and that D-Day speech scene was crazy. I think HD and I, we spent like 2 months straight just talking and boring everyone off. Like, have you seen Saving Private Ryan? You have to see it. and we reenacting like the best
Medal
scenes.
of Honor, yeah, they
Medal of Honor
were
was
great.
really.
This is what I mean.
Yeah.
It's a great era of great games, but it's so long
For
ago
sure.
because it wasn't necessarily every game was like this huge marketed thing. It was just, hey, there's a game coming, here it is, play it, word of mouth. Now it's like the
Exactly,
marketing is like, we know the next 6 to 12 months of PlayStation games. We know what's
For
coming in
sure.
a couple of years, and I'd like it where they do more things like EA did with Apex. Drop it, it's done. No leaks.
Yeah, there you go.
Fallout 4 was like, hey guys, Fallout 4's happening, it's coming out in 3 months. That kind of thing.
That was amazing. That was really cool.
I'm really hoping with the Metal Gear Solid 3 remake that they said, hey, it's a thing, guys, it's a thing. And next year's the 20th anniversary, it's got to be coming within a year. Because they've got to hit that deadline. Because it's the 20th anniversary, if they miss that, it's kind of missing an opportunity. And also with that collection coming out, and it's the same kind of thing with Resident Evil 4. Wasn't it the 20th or 15th anniversary with the remake of that or something?
4.
Yeah,
more or less.
Something like that. Yeah.
But I just wish more games did that. Like it was like, hey, it's coming, hey, it's out. I don't like these whole things where it's like Death Stranding 2. Death Stranding was an alright game. I think Kojima is a bit of a one-hit wonder. Actually, I need to see what he does with 2 to warrant. I think Metal Gear. This is a controversial thing, and there's a lot of people on Twitter agree and disagree. Metal Gear, as much as people, don't want to admit, it's not just Kojima. There were thousands of people working on it. There was a team. There was Konami, and I think the collaboration made that game.
Absolutely.
Death Stranding is just Kojima on his own with PlayStation going, hey, go and do that. A bit like George Lucas and the Phantom Menace. Now, I'm not saying Death Stranding is the Phantom Menace, but it can be seen as, that is really weird, that is really different, that's really out there, and we need games like that.
True.
But I also don't want the hype. The hype of Phantom Pain killed it. The hype of Death Stranding killed it. And now they're like, Death Stranding 2, it's coming in 5 years, maybe. Like, same with Hellblade 2, that's been kind of like, oh, it's coming, and it's only on Xbox, obviously, and I'm very wary of Starfield for the same reason. I prefer how Insomniac have done it. Stayed quiet, showed a big chunk of gameplay, showed a trailer, disappear, it's coming in September. That's it. Or October, is it?
100%.
Sorry.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Or if you stop to think about it, Elden Scrolls 6 was announced 5 years ago, and apparently
and it's not coming till 2028.
Correct. But I'm gonna stop us here because we're rambling off track a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's bring us back. So, like I was saying, Medal of Honor Frontline Assault for me was like the big game, and
For sure.
and you know it's a sad thing that Medal of Honor went RIP. Call of Duty came in, just kicked it down, you know, shot it in the
I'll
head,
be
Yeah,
with
they
you a second,
tried.
guys. Sorry.
defecated on
They
it.
tried coming back.
I'll be back in 5 seconds.
Okay, we will.
Cool. I mean, they tried.
Mhm.
Or you want to?
No, we can carry on. We can carry on.
Pause.
No worries.
They tried to bring Medal of Honor back. They did
Yeah,
try. It
with the
didn't work.
PlayStation
That was in
3,
the
yeah,
height
yeah.
of COD, of COD time.
Yeah, but-
yeah, it didn't work. But that was iconic, Danny. I remember playing that and playing multiplayer and running around with a Velociraptor holding a fucking machine gun.
I remember that. Yeah, yeah. But actually, no, you lied.
That was
Yeah,
funny.
no, that was not for the PlayStation 1 though.
Was that PS1?
Yeah, that was a PS1. I think it was the second one where we play as a resistant fighter in Paris. But I could be wrong.
Okay.
And then, do you remember Dragon Ball Budokai 3 for the PlayStation 2?
Oh, dude! Oh, my word! That was so much fun, dude. Obviously, because that was just the height of DBZ sort of fandom for all of us. That was so good. That was so
Dude,
good.
I swear to God, I was unbeatable in that game. All right, no one could beat me. I would go.
Sure.
I would go Goku with what? Let's see. It was a Dragon Ball GT. Yes, it's Dragon Ball GT. What's that final fusion where they Super Saiyan 4 and they fuse together? Vegeta, yeah, something like that.
So Vegito was when they fused with the Potara earrings.
Yes.
Gogeta was when they fused with the fusion dance.
Correct. Well, in Budokai 3, you can get him, right? But you've only got him for 15 seconds because you know how quick it is. But he destroys.
I remember.
He destroys.
He destroys, dude. Destroys.
Yeah. Anyway, like I said. Let's see. It's Dead LYCD. It's Dead List. I don't know. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that terribly. Has stated Lord of the Rings: Return of the King for the PlayStation 2. I don't know if have you played any Lord of the Rings games?
I played. I think it was Two Towers. Was it Two Towers?
I've played Two Towers. I remember that one.
Which one it was?
That was an awesome game.
Where you played as you could choose between Aragorn, Gimli, or Legolas. Oh,
correct.
Man,
yes.
And it was multiplayer. That was so fun. That was super fun. That one. That's the only Lord of the Rings game I remember playing.
Yeah.
Sorry, emergency call from the other half. I'm back.
Okay, no worries.
You got to take those.
Yeah. He also says Star Wars: Revenge of the Sith for the PlayStation 2.
Yes.
Was it a game?
The alternate ending. Oh. Did you really never play that?
No, dude.
You could kill Obi-Wan and then kill Palpatine as Anakin.
Really? On the PlayStation 2?
Yeah, it can be emulated completely legally. Obviously, we all own copies.
Correct. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Sure.
If you use Dolphin or DuckStation on PC, it can be emulated. Obviously, or putting it in PS2 and a PS3 kind of thing.
Okay, well, hold that to that thought, Jono, because we'll come back to that topic. Let's carry on this journey down memory lane with PlayStation 3 games, Jono.
Oh, that's an easy one for me.
Okay, you start HD and give Jono.
I've got a few.
Last of Us.
Anyway.
Last of Us.
Okay.
Oh,
really?
Yeah.
Really? It has to be
PS3,
The Last of Us,
wasn't it?
That was PS3. It's disgusting because it came out on PS4 and 5.
and 6. Trust me, it'll come out on 6. We all know it's coming.
For sure.
I think we'll get The Last of Us 1. I think we'll get The Last of Us 3 at the tail end of the PS5, and then we'll get an entire collection, part 1 to 3, as on PS6. I think
for sure.
Right
The Last of Us Part 1 again.
It'll be. I think it'll just be The Last of Us Saga or something like that. It'll be like how they did the Uncharted Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they should call it The Last of Us Bargain Bin collection. Put it in the bargain bin, or better yet, put it in the bin, in that bin, but not the first one, the second one.
No. I say it's disgusting, but as soon as part 1, becomes like 50% cheaper, I will buy it.
Every franchise has that entry, whether it's film, book, game, that it just tears apart the fan base, because some of the fan base love it, it brings in new people, some of the fan base hate it, and I can be objective. I literally, plug in my own video in my trophy update, talk about The Last of Us 2. It's okay, I plugged PTR's video the other day.
Okay.
So, you're forgiven. You're forgiven.
So basically, I just say, like, gameplay, visuals, acting, everything, top notch, 10 out of 10. But the story, the pacing, the narrative,
for sure,
and the kind of repetitive nature of, we can go prone on a PS4 game kind of thing. It's like this revolutionary.
New features.
The enemies are going to make you feel bad. I don't give a shit. I'm going to blow his head off. Now the dog, I didn't like that I had to kill the dog. I will say that.
I don't think anyone did.
But I think Part 3 is going to be utterly different. I think it's going to be really gritty and grounded and back to the roots of 1 with complete new people. And they may cameo Ellie and Abby in it. We'll see.
Wait, before anybody else mentions their favorite game, I just want to say the first game, the launch title I played on PS3 was Resistance: Fall of Man. And when I got my PS3, I got my very first HD TV very soon after that, and I was now, I couldn't believe, HD, it was crazy, my eyes bled when I got that, because I plugged it in, I'm like, this looks the same, it's just blown up, and then I realized I didn't have this thing, it's called the HDMI cable. Like, what is this? This is new, right? So I go get it and I plug it in, I'm playing Resistance: Fall of Man, and I'll never forget my eyes, it felt like I was freaking bleeding. I was like, I can't believe how crisp this looks. It was insane.
To HD was insane. For me, PS3, there's a lot of PS3. Obviously,
PS3.
Right. Sound off, baby, sound off. Let's hear him.
So, you've already mentioned The Last of Us, but a lot of you will forget this. I'm telling you, you will forget this. Because it feels so long ago. But we've got amazing games. Red Dead Redemption.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
GTA 5.
That was my second one.
For some,
yeah.
That has got a very, very strong memory for me. I went down to Blockbusters at midnight and picked it up, special edition on PS3. And then I played it on 360, then I played it on PS4, and then 5. I mean, I'm not a fan of the story, but you can't deny that the formula works. Killzone 2 is on it. Batman Arkham City. Mass Effect, Skyrim. I think genuinely, two of the biggest memories is Skyrim and Heavy Rain. Jason, that.
I was just about to say.
Heavy Rain was special because it was that thing. It's like, wow, this is like an interactive movie with multiple endings. And there was Beyond Two Souls, which if I just to cover myself, if I mention that at all in this video more, I'll just refer to it as Ellen, because at the time it was Ellen. If you understand, not Jodie. But I understand obviously Elliot now. But I remember PewDiePie playing.
Gotta get it right, eh?
Yeah. Like I said, I like the actor, so I'm fine with that. But I remember Heavy Rain, like Beyond Two Souls. They all had like big actors involved with them, and they had Detroit Become Human and all that. Never
mind that the controls were trash. They were the worst controls ever. I tried to get back to it on PS4. It was so bad, dude.
I will blow everyone's mind with a memory that I was never a part of because I never got the PS3 originally. So I'll quickly mention MGS4, a great game. I came back to that to play that. But Home, I never got involved with Home. PlayStation Home, that needs to come back.
Oh, dude, the PlayStation Home.
Yeah.
Man, that was cool. That blew my mind.
You could look up your trophies. You could walk up to trophies on the wall.
Damn.
It was insane.
Yeah, there was you could go into like this cinema and watch game trailers. Your avatar would sit in the cinema and it would play
and I don't know
game
why they've
trailers
not
on
done
loop.
That. I really do not know. I'd love if
Dude,
they combined.
PlayStation Home was awesome.
Imagine this, right? PlayStation Home, and they just call it that. You can walk around as an avatar in like a kind of metaverse style Facebook thing, which they could rip that straight from that. But you could also walk around in first person wearing your PSVR 2.
VR.
And you can see your trophies, interact. They could incorporate Discord into it. Like, I genuinely think PS5 is going to be the bombastic blockbuster generation, but I think PS6 is going to go more to the social side again.
More social.
Yeah, because I think they've missed the opportunity with lockdown, and they've got to get all these games out, and then it's going to be already towards the end of the generation. It's probably going to think, right, let's make the
scalpers.
Yeah, it's
the scalpers.
But yeah, PS3 was an era where I didn't have a lot of experience, but I've got fond memories around the games and also negative memories around the games as well. So that was more, I was on 360. I kind of took a chance somewhere else.
Sis Jontis, how dare you?
And, and obviously, shout out to Journey again. That was like a big one for PS3. Borderlands 2 as well. There's loads of ones.
Danny, what about yours?
Yeah, well, let's see. I mean, I was about to defend Jontis in the sense that I had a 360 before I had a PS3, and we all know why, because of the price difference. That's where Sony effed up, because the PlayStation 3 was way expensive. I think they really thought that everyone would just
it was like 600 quid or something ridiculous.
Exactly.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the PS3 came out when I was 19. And I bought the 360 with my own money because I just started working. And then for my 21st birthday, my mom bought me the PS3. I was like, yeah, this is for you. I'm like, oh, thanks, Mom. Thanks for fueling my addiction. But anyway, PS3 games, I have to go Killzone 2. I loved that game because also, if I don't know if you guys can remember, its trailer was very D-Day-ish. As in, you troops on flying spaceships, running down. Well, not running down, flying down to the planet. You're taking fire, and it's very, very Saving Private Ryan. And fun fact, that trailer, apparently, everyone said, "Oh, that's in-game footage," and it wasn't in-game footage. That was my first taste of.
Was that Killzone 2?
Yep.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that controversy quite a lot.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another one though that people forget about: Warhawk.
I have no idea what you're on about. What the hell is this Warhawk? I have to look it up.
I think it's called I think it's PS3 Warhawk. Let me just double check. Yes, it is. It was an online game where you could basically go on jets. It was trying to be like Halo-ish almost. Really good game. Really, really good game. It looked incredible for the time, but yeah, as well, like you got stuff like Resistance Fallen Man, which they need to reboot or do a fourth one.
Yeah, ditto. I agree. I think enough time has passed that remake the game with modern controllers, and it'll fly off the shelves. That's my personal opinion because I've never played it.
And do what you want. Add a battle royale mode. Add a battle pass to all the online shit. As long as the story is like 10 to 15 hours and a good platinum and it's a jumping off point. Like Dead Space is kind of rebooted, isn't it? So I'm hoping they do 2 and then wipe 3, and the same with Dino Crisis eventually. Do 1 and 2 and wipe 3.
I'm of the minority that enjoyed 3, and I think it's because I played it co-op with a.
Yeah, it's same as 6, Resident Evil 6.
I think it's those are games,
game, but I enjoyed playing it with someone.
Exactly, that's obviously playing a game with someone ups the enjoyment. If you play by yourself, you'll say, "Oh, this is."
For that.
Okay.
That's another PS3 memory for me. Resident Evil 5, playing it co-op with a friend I no longer am involved with, but I remember playing me and him. It was like Chevet and Chris, and the graphics were insane. Absolutely insane. I remember like seeing the executioner and being trapped in that house at the beginning in the African village.
Yeah,
and
that was a good way to open the game.
Yeah,
really good way.
And it has up and downs, but I still think Resident Evil 5 is one of the best Resident Evils, and I prefer it to 4 hands down.
Oh God, here we go.
Because it was the first co-op thing.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's because it was co-op.
Yeah, if it took that out, it wouldn't have been as good as 4. I agree. Because the story and the setting is a bit hit and miss, and some of the enemies are hit and miss, and Albert Wesker's kind of ending is just a bit like weird because he would have never mutated. He would have never done that, in my opinion. He would have never sunk, even in an emergency. he would have never sunk to that level. He was
As
a
long as
purist.
his glasses never came off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, then
But and obviously boulder punches and stuff like that. But
yeah, for sure.
And
I saw a thumbnail. Sorry, Danny. I saw a
Yeah.
thumbnail on YouTube somewhere where they talking about the piss-colored era of games, and what they meant by that is like there was this era of games. I think it was it was PS3 because it showed a host of PS3 games. It was Resident Evil 5 was there, Metal Gear Solid 4 was there. I think Killzone was there. There was a few Gears of War was there. All of that was there, but they all had this weird brown yellow filter
grain to
over
it.
the grain, the film grain look to them, and it was there was a whole era of games that just had that look.
Resistance
Yeah.
had that as well. Killzone had that. Oh god. There was Infamous, I think, somewhat had that. Dead Rising kind of had that as well. I remember MGS4 having like a very grainy filter that seemed to be cleared up with an update, I think, because it was a bit gritty, or maybe the original trailers for it. But yeah, PS3 was a hit and miss era for me. I didn't have a lot of experience with it, so.
Honorable mentions, comments in the chat is Star Wars Force Unleashed, which I hear is a good game, but I never
Oh
played.
my god, yes!
Yeah. Call of Duty
Jesus.
Black Ops, I played that and I love that, and World of War, so I love that one as well.
Oh yes.
Mason, what do the numbers mean?
Honestly,
Yeah.
the first zombies and Black Ops zombies, and even Black Ops 2 and 3 zombies, all very, very good, but
Man,
nothing
Black
beats
Ops
World of
1.
War. World of War
Black
had an
Ops
amazing
1 was the
campaign.
best.
True.
Yeah.
World
They need
of
to
War was
remake
crazy.
Black Ops. I hope that's the new COD that they're doing. I hope there's a remake of Black Ops 1. 'Cause I would buy that.
I saw earlier today on Twitter leak apparently that Modern Warfare 3 is the remake, the next remake.
What?
But obviously, like I
They've
say, this
just
is.
made Modern
was
Warfare
okay.
2.
I know, like I say,
That's why, right?
Don't
That's
shoot
why.
me, don't shoot the messenger, Johnny. I'll say what the
I'm
hell,
not
bro.
really. I'll tell you what I would like to see.
What?
Battlefield Bad Company 3
Ooh, Bad Company.
and
with that cast.
Battlefield 1942 remade.
Mhm.
Was it 1942? I think.
Yes, it is.
Or
It
a
is,
sequel
yeah.
to Battlefield 1 that's still set in World War 1 that is just a Battlefield 1 sequel, because that is the best Battlefield they've done in a long time.
Well,
True.
first they need to do is make a good. All they need to do is make a good Battlefield game, because that last one was trash.
2042 is a lot better now. It's gone from like trash to
I
like
guess
this
so.
is okay.
I guess so.
But it's too late. The window's gone, isn't it?
All
Too
right.
little, too late, man.
Too little, too
PS4
late.
now, yeah.
Yes. Okay. Let's shoot quickly past PS4 because we did delve a little too much into these ones.
We ramble.
Hey,
Yeah,
ramble.
that's what we
Okay,
do.
HD, come on. Give me those PS4 beauties, memories.
God of War, man. God of War 2018. That's it.
That's the tweet.
That's the tweet.
What a basic
PS
bitch. No, I'm joking.
Oh shit! Here we go.
Hey, I'll take that. I'll be basic. I'll be a
No,
basic bitch. But
that is the safe answer, but also I get why people enjoy it. It's
but
not,
I mean,
it's not for
I'm
me,
surprised we never mentioned God of War before this, actually, because that was,
I never
sort
had
of the original
experiences.
trilogy.
2018 was my first ever one, and I was kind of hit and miss on it. Stopped and started it, but then Ragnarok came out, and I was like, "Damn, this is really good."
God of War 2, the way it started as well. Man, that was really cool. 3, I finished God of War 3 in 2 days.
Damn.
And the first day, I literally got to the first fight you have with Zeus. In the first day, I got it. And then the next day, I spent the whole day fighting Zeus because he was freaking difficult.
That hard. Okay. For you, Jono?
Like for me, PS4 is like again the closest to like the PS1, PS2 era. I have so many good memories. A bit melancholic because it's a bit of a bad time in life at the same time. But I'll start from when I first got it. So the reason it was like a big thing for me as well is I was in an apprenticeship earning very crap money back in 2014, 2015. So it came out in 2013, didn't it? Is it tail end of 2013 PS4? Or very early 2014. But either way, it was definitely a year or two old by the time I got one. I got the original fat one, and I got Wolfenstein, and I got Dying Light the original Dying Light, and I also had GTA 5 because it was like the PS4 version had just come out or something. So I had one kind of open worldy game and then two first person kind of adventure games, and I was blown away by Dying Light. You landed in it, everything looked so crisp and clear. Like most of the games were beginning to be like 60 FPS, mostly 1080p to 1440p, and it was really pushing it. And obviously the light up controller, the touchy kind of pad on it and everything. I was like, oh, this is so cool. It sounded like a jet engine, but it was so cool.
True.
But that was like a big memory because it was the first console I bought with my own money. I saved, bought that, and the very first game I properly bought and saved up for was Bloodborne, and I played that. I went shit at it, and I got I think it was like the Triple Sisters in the Graveyard or something. I put that game down. Never went back to it. It's an amazing game, but by far the best Souls game in looks and play. But it needs 60 FPS upgrade for me to go back.
Disagree there, though.
After that, I have fond memories of Ark Survival Evolved, even though it ran like crap. I had like nearly 2,000 hours in that because it was just a time in my life where I enjoyed it, but then it was over because of a relationship being over, and I used to play it. Dead by Daylight was much the same. I've gone back to it now for my new Platinum with the PS5 version of Carl Deadly from the Platinum. But I think the biggest wow, this is the way gaming is going. This is absolutely beautiful. I love the new story. I love the new IP, and come on, it had dinosaurs, robot dinosaurs. So Horizon Zero Dawn is by far the biggest kind of PS4 memory and influence I have.
I can't understand. You see, I'm not saying it's a bad game, but I just don't understand the hype for.
I never got hyped for it. I saw the trailer in I think it was 2013, 2014, very conceptual trailer. Never got hyped for it, and then PlayStation Access was like, "Hey, this is coming out," and I was like, "Oh, this looks cool," and I was like, "Wow, this looks really good," and I got the limited edition from Game. And I was like, Aloy's sassy, and she's a strong woman, but it's not like I'm a strong woman. It's not that kind of thing. It was like, I'm a genuine character who isn't interested in romance. I have a destiny. I have this interesting thing going on. Cool world, cool concept. I like the matriarchy thing of it. It was different. And the combat, and it looked amazing. And I mean, ADHD just loved certain outfits. I don't know why. Like the kind of stringy outfit that made it blend into the environments, and then the shield weaver thing. I just loved it. But the end boss is absolute ass. And it's sequel baits hard.
That was bullshit.
Which it deducts 2 points, even though I think it's a generational defining game, and it's one of those things that's like Death Stranding. You either love or hate it.
It's a flagship brand for PlayStation as well.
It's like a Crash Bandicoot, a Nathan Drake. It's a Solid Snake. It's that kind of thing. Whereas Xbox still have just Mr. Halo and Gears, and Gears is brilliant. But off the top of my head...
But Gears is dead.
A car for Forza, Halo, Phil Spencer, and Gears of War is still all I see Xbox as. PlayStation has gone, right, these are our old icons, we'll bring them back occasionally, but here's a load of new icons, Joel, Ellie, Aloy, Kratos, Nathan Drake, then you've got all brand new stuff like Death Stranding stuff, and Spider-Man.
There's a lot of them, and I was about to say the notable mentions for me are, it seems to all be PlayStation exclusives, barring a few. Like you mentioned now, Uncharted. Spider-Man absolutely blew me away, and we obviously can't forget about Last of Us 2.
We can't forget about Last of Us 2. I'm not going to allow it. I'm not going to allow it, HD. No.
You never played it.
I don't need to play it. I don't need to play it.
You can't say shit.
Bruh, I am God. I am God, and that game does not exist.
You can watch a game on YouTube, and you can get opinions on it, but you physically, in my opinion, you can have the opinion of, I've seen enough people not like it, I know roughly I wouldn't like it, and that's fine. But you cannot say a game is bad or good unless you have played it firsthand.
Thank you, Jontis.
But you're welcome to say that I know I wouldn't like it, and I think it's bad.
But all I'm going to say, is no you. And that and they were going.
I
And
tell
they
you what, as well, to bring it up again, Beyond Two Souls got a PS4 version with like some DLC
That was
and like
decent.
mixed ups.
That was decent.
It made it look better, and that is the port I remember because I remember PewDiePie playing it, and I watched like 3 episodes and was like, right, I'm stopping. I'm going to play the game. Then I'm going to come back and watch him play the game. And again, like I said at the time, seeing Ellen, who was like an actress I liked,
Actress, Ellen Page.
and then obviously seeing them now in Umbrella Academy as Elliot and all this, and it's weird. It's like a weird transition of like you see them in a certain way and how they used to be when you were really young, and then you see them when you're older and they've changed themselves and all that. And that was like a big thing, like as well. And also David Cage. I found loads of things out about David Cage, and he was really shifty in Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls.
Well, he's
with,
French,
like,
right?
women.
So it's a given.
He was very shifty with the women, so I can understand why people don't like his games anymore.
The French are they're more open and
I'd say pushy. I'd say
loving.
yeah.
The French are the French. But anyway, going back to PlayStation 4 games, for me it has to be Spider-Man, for obvious reasons. I don't think I'd have to go into that.
To be honest, I didn't even think about that because I knew someone was going to say it. But yeah, Spider-Man is one of the things I am genuinely worried for the sequel because we had that whole a new Spider-Man game, and now we're getting it's another Spider-Man game, so it's got to do more.
That's one you probably don't have to worry about.
But it's been 5 years.
I worry more as in the whole swapping between Miles and Peter. Is it going to force me to play as one or the other? Because in all honesty, I actually really like Miles Morales, his character, but I don't like him in the new game. I don't. His voice actor gets on me. Yeah, I don't like his voice actor. I think the kind of story and the way they've gone with him is not what I like, and I didn't like the actual. It's a DLC for 60 quid. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Zedek will agree with me if he's listening. At any point, I don't like it. So I hope he's minimal in the new story because it's Spider-Man's game. It's Peter Parker's game. Or better yet, kill him. Have Peter kill him.
No.
Or really, really, really hurt him and show how Venom and the symbiote fucked Peter up. Because if they kill Peter in this one, I want to see Ben Reilly as well.
This is Jontis.
The comic book and kill Peter off, and then Miles becomes.
If Miles, I want to see a Gwen Stacy game. Like a Spider-Gwen game, that would be sick. And I also want to see a Spider-Man 2099 and like anything to do with Ben Reilly and stuff like that. And there's so much I think they're fixating on Miles too much, in my opinion. They fixated on Peter for a long time, and now this Miles thing with the new movies and all that, and I think they're fixating on him next. And it's like Spider-Gwen, we've never seen Spider-Gwen. Go on to her for a bit, go on.
Yeah, she seems pretty interesting. Yeah,
for sure.
Also, honorable mention to Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead 2.
Let's not forget.
Oh, that's a PS4 game, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, all right. Okay. But anyway, let's move on. Let's move on because I think we've been on for like the majority of the time has been these questions.
We're doing PS5 quickly, right?
Okay. One game for the PS5. I'll go first because I already have it in my head. Astro's Playroom. First game I ever played. And I loved it. I loved it.
Astro is really nice. I think that was a nice way of it come through with the console. But I think
it's good.
So far, I think the experience, as much as I think visually, Forbidden West, nothing comes close, and that was a massive expansion on the first game in every sense of the word, and it perfected the open world kind of cliche design while doing something different. But I think nothing comes close to I know it's not just a PS5 game, but nothing comes close to the experience I had with Elden Ring. I am not a Souls guy, but I sat and played that with my mates 9 days in a row, about 15 hours a day. We had a load of time booked off. He had time off work, I had time away from uni, and I just sat there, and that is a vivid memory of that. But
another cool memory.
Ragnarok as well, as much as I don't think it's as good as people say. It was still a
It's not.
really
It's
cool
not.
game.
It's not. It's not. It's a cool game,
It's
but
like
not as good.
it's like an 8 out of 10. I'll give it a low 8 out of 10. I can see why people prefer the 2018 version.
For sure.
I think
definitely do.
it's more like God of War 2018 1.5.
Yeah.
It's not. I don't know why it took so long, in my opinion. Apart from obviously, I know the voice actor was, not well.
Yeah.
Oh
I
yeah,
think,
yeah.
I
It's
think
hard to
that's
top. It's hard to top
probably.
2018.
Oh, and
Hard to
COVID.
top it.
Actually, no, take that back. Yeah, lockdown, everything fucked that all up. So,
Hmm.
yeah, take that back. I forgot about lockdown for a moment. But, yeah, I think Elden
Never
Ring as an
forget.
experience, for Forbidden West is like the visual wow. What other PS5? I mean, to be honest,
Well, I'll tell
Godfall
you
being
what
a
my favorite
disappointment
was. I'll tell you
Yes,
what my
go.
favorite was, and it was quite. A lot of people didn't like it. The style of game it was, and it obviously threw a lot of people off. But visually, it was amazing. It's a PS5 exclusive, so there's a lot of games I enjoyed on PS5. But like you said, like for instance, Elden Ring is 4 and 5.
Mhm.
But my favorite PS5 game has to be, well, so far, Returnal. That
Oh,
game
yeah, yeah,
was
yeah.
freaking awesome.
Still need to
I love
platinum
that
that.
gameplay wise and
Mhm.
visual wise and just story, how
Yeah,
trippy
nothing
it
come
was.
close to how that gameplay felt.
Returnal
It's
was
so
awesome,
cool.
man. But I love rogue-like games like that. I'm a big fan of Binding of Isaac. I'm a big fan
I'm
of
gonna rewind you a
Rogue
moment
Legacy.
as well
Rogue Legacy?
because
Okay,
you
it's
mentioned
rewind
like
time.
the whole PS4, 5, and how some games are coming out on both. I know Returnal didn't, but I
Mm.
thought you were going to say Death Stranding. But we completely forgot Ghost of Tsushima. That was a PS4
Dude, I
game,
was gonna say Ghost of Tsushima for
and that
sure.
is on
So this,
PS5 as
that
well.
big,
Yes.
big honorable mentions for me is
I
Ghost of Tsushima, but more specifically, and I know we're going back to 4 now, but the reason why that was big for me is because I remember playing it and I was like, this is okay. Like that fight, that war in the beginning, I was like, I didn't feel it that much. But as soon as the game opened up and it became
Yes.
like the open world sort of style game, then I was like, whoa,
That
this is
exactly.
awesome. And it looked gorgeous. It was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. That's it.
Yeah, and
That moment when you sorry for
oh,
cutting your face. That moment where you
mm.
get on your horse and you start running through the flower field, and that
Oh
music. Yeah.
man,
Yes.
Yeah, the whole
Yes.
idea of
iconic,
like you just
iconic.
slide up on your controller and it breathes a wind of air to push you in the right direction as like the next objective. That
Oh,
was
that's
really
your way.
cool.
That's how you. That's your
Yeah.
waypoint
Exactly.
finder kind of thing. You
Exactly.
follow the wind. And
Uh,
another honorable mention is funny you mentioned this earlier, Jontis. So this is 4 and 5 because I'm currently. It's actually paused on my screen right now. It's the director's cut of Death Stranding. So I am a big Kojima fanboy, big fanboy. Loved Death Stranding was story-wise one of the best stories I've played on PS4. It's really up there. I'm literally playing it again on PS5.
all right.
But
Perfect.
so just before we carry on, I want an honorable mention on PS5 as well. A game that
Yes.
doesn't get spoken of enough is Deathloop.
No.
Deathloop
No.
is
Bleh, no,
freaking
No. I'm
awesome.
not gonna allow
I
it.
love that game.
Oh my
Deathloop
It's
god.
was the
weird. It's
prime
weird.
example for me, right? Prime
It's weird.
example.
But
It's I'll get anyone can like a game and you can say it's weird and say it's good. I get that
Yeah.
totally, but Deathloop
for
is a
sure.
prime example of how journalists were definitely paid off to give it a 10 out of 10 review because that game
It's
is
not 10
nowhere
out of 10.
near a 10.
It's not 10 out of 10,
No.
but it was so fun. And I remember playing it, and it was so hard for me to get into it because you effectively playing the loop. But this goes back to like what I
It's
was
a
mentioning
very
about
difficult, weird,
what
bizarre
I
game like Death Stranding, and I do
yeah,
appreciate that.
it is
Yeah.
bizarre like that, and it just mixes stuff I like time travel and just that very sort of 70s aesthetic, as well to the characters and the wardrobe and everything.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Oh
the
god.
main reason why I liked it, the main reason why I love Deathloop and Returnal, they're both the same type of games, is roguelike games, and I mentioned Binding of Isaac
Deathloop had a
and
bit of a
Rogue
like,
Legacy.
it's called black
Love those games.
exploitation thing to it.
Blaxploitation, yeah.
It's where
Very
like
black
African
coffee sort
Americans
of vibe, yeah.
or like the
Yeah.
Hollywood types kind of go, you exploited us for our skin color, so we're going to take that aesthetic back and we're going to make kind of things for us. Like it's like funk and
Yeah.
soul kind of thing. There's a new film with John Boyega coming out and for Netflix. It's called like who who cloned
Who
Tyrone or
cares?
something.
Oh.
But no, it's got Jamie Foxx and some other people. But it reminds me, if they ever did like a cult kind of character, like a Deathloop kind of dude like that, it reminds me of
like that, yeah.
that kind of vibe where like you can tell some thought and effort's gone into it to make it cool. But
For
yeah,
sure.
the whole kind of dropping of that game was awful as well, because
Well-
Deathloop 2 is only going to be on Xbox because it's Bethesda.
Oh, that's stupid.
Ah,
well,
okay.
before we continue here, Danny, because I think we've,
Yeah.
we've spoken enough from this point, I just want to say Arcane Studios dropped the ball majorly with this Redfall launch.
Oh,
It's
but you
so
know,
sad.
no,
I
it's not
think
so
they
sad.
were
It's
on a good
beautiful.
wicket.
Hang on,
It's
is that the same
beautiful.
company?
Yes, it
It's
is.
the
Deathloop.
same.
Oh my
Arcane,
god.
Arcane Studios. They
Ugh.
did. What is those two games? I never played
Dishonored.
them. Dishonored 1
Dishonored,
and 2.
yeah.
They did
That was
Deathloop,
peak.
and then they
Dishonored
did
1 and 2.
And it did
then,
Prey as well.
See, Prey, for me, at the time, was really good, but going back to it, it's not held up very well at all.
Well.
It's quickly aged.
Well, some games unfortunately have that. They'll, like on the PlayStation 2, they'll be like god tier games, and then like if you go back and play them now, they'll be like no. But anyway, once again, to the audience listening, I do apologize for HD's terrible opinions and takes. It is what it is.
I can see Carl's listed, actually. So.
All right, next question. Now this is going to be some debate, and I want to see with each console generation, right? We've seen changes in controller design. What are your thoughts on the evolution of PlayStation controllers? And do you have a personal favorite? I'm going to throw this one to Jono. If you can hear me. Hello?
Oh, he can't. There's some technical issues. He can't hear you at the minute. He's going to be back in a moment, so I'll take the question first if you want.
Okay. Oh yeah, HD. Okay, go on.
It's every podcast we do, whether it's mine, yours, or other person's, always
Yeah.
tech issues. But yeah,
It is what it is.
It is. My personal kind of the evolution of it. Oh, he's back already. The evolution of it is like PS1 to PS2 was like obviously the analogs, the dual shot. It was the first dual shot, and then obviously PS3 became wireless, and there's like wow, that's a big memory remembering. I could sit back and I didn't have a wire unless I was charging it, so that was like a big thing. But I think PS4 was my favourite, but my biggest gripe with the PS4 DualShock 4, I think it was called. Touchpad was cool. I loved the button layout and everything like that. It was too small for my hands. It felt too small, and it got a lot of dirt and grease and stuff on it very quickly. Sweaty gamer grease, Doritos, Mountain Dew, all that. So
Wash your hands, man.
Exactly.
If I had to like ignore nostalgia and ignore just technological advancement, I think personally the best controller by far is the DualSense, because it's the perfect size. I like the style and design. It's still got the touchpad, which is useful. Still got the light. Still got the analogs. Got the nice little PlayStation button in the middle. But the haptics and the feedback is just out of this world. It's the biggest swap, I think, since PS3, because it had the rumble and the wireless, and this is the biggest jump. There is two next-gen or two current-gen consoles, but there's only one next-gen or current-gen controller, and that
For
makes
sure.
sense. Like they can, I hope, but the thing is, this is forced Xbox's hand, because they're doing their own haptic one now, which means competition is good, which is why console wars are stupid.
Correct.
Even though PS5 is better, because that's just a fact.
For sure.
True.
Right
No,
now,
but
right now,
I agree with that. I mean, I know Xbox has been taking a lot of L's, and it's funny to watch, but
we need them.
we need them exactly. We need them to get W's and make awesome games, because what will happen
Sony will
is
get complacent. Yeah.
exactly. All right,
Yeah,
HD,
good
welcome
point.
back. Thank you for joining us again. I don't know if you heard the question, but it's basically the controllers.
The controllers?
Have these. I'll repeat the question. With each console generation.
I know the question.
Okay, you know
I
the
heard-
question.
I
Go,
heard, yeah.
go.
Thanks.
Let's go.
Yeah, look, I think I have to agree with Jontis. While I did the journey of them, and when we first got the analog stick, playing Ape Escape and stuff, and that just blew my mind. Moving around with this joystick, this weird thing, right?
Mhm.
And then obviously getting the rumble and all that stuff. All of those were iconic. And when they added 6-axis, I don't know if you guys remember this PS3 game called Lair.
No.
Lair. When
Oh
you fly that
yeah,
dragon, and the control, you couldn't fly the dragon with buttons. You flew it, and you had to move your controller left and right and up and down. And
that was so weird.
it was a
Yeah.
weird one. You were like a dragon rider, and you use the 6-axis. So that, I mean, all the
Tech
like
demos are
Jontis
cool.
was saying, the
Yeah.
technological advances are all cool, but I think my favorite has to be the DualSense, with PS4 being very close behind, because
Yeah.
PS4 had that, it changed that sharp, the handles of the PlayStation. They changed it into more of like a rounded shape, and it fit more better in
Ergonomic,
your
yeah,
fingers.
it's called.
Yeah, and but I think the DualSense, for everything John has mentioned, is the superior one. I think it's just peak. It just
I
got better
think,
with each iteration.
yeah,
Yeah.
genuinely, I think the difference is Xbox, their first one was over the top, and then 360 was great, and then
360 was
Xbox
great.
One perfected it, and they've just kept it the same. There's been no reason for them
Yeah.
to really make many
If it ain't
changes because
broke.
it's perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I will agree that I think for some, the other analog placement is better with Xbox, but for me personally, I
weird.
I don't care. It doesn't really feel much different to me because I've got bigger hands. For smaller-handed people, yes, I agree. But the biggest issue I have with this DualSense is it should have the classic colours on the buttons, and also the analogs are ugly. They should have been like translucent or white, because it just feels weird. And also the battery life is absolute ass, having the controller for like nearly 2 years now. What, 2 or 3 years now?
Yeah.
And it's heavy. If you drop it, I'm worried I'm going to break it. That's another thing, but I get it because the haptics. And there was a lot of faults. And my mate's haptics trigger like broke after 2 weeks. There was a lot of issues. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Sound points and arguments made on each camp.
sure.
One thing I'll say, that going back to the Xbox thing, there, when it comes to choice, like design choice, they beat PlayStation hands down.
They literally, it's no competition. The Xbox Design Lab is like, why haven't Sony done that? They could make so much money.
Yeah, I mean, for the PS4 controllers, they towards the end they started dipping their hands into it, or heads, or whatever how the expression goes, and I did buy a few. But the one thing with the PlayStation 4, the touchpad, that was supposed to be like, oh yeah, design your game using it, and like I can think of one game that used that in game, and that was Trine, I believe it's called. We played like knight, a wizard, and some bollocks like that. And then
Dreams
he plays
on PS4 and 5 use it now.
Is it?
So,
oh yeah, but that was like 5 seconds, and then no one used it. And yeah, like I also go with John. The design, I've got it right here. I mean, I don't know. It's cool, but it's not cool, as in the sense like the if you want to like get
too minimalist, I think.
Yeah,
sometimes.
And also the drift. I bought the black one, and like 3 months later, it has drift, and that pissed me the f off.
Yeah, it's got a dodgy copy, a dodgy version, basically. Yeah. But I tell you, the biggest thing, the two biggest things from the console generations, the biggest technological advances that I really love. Photo mode is a massive thing now, and that we need to keep that. That is one of the biggest things that PlayStation, as far as I'm aware, on consoles, kind of kicked off, kind of thing. Recording content, streaming, all that. It makes it so easy. Drop of a hat, share, screenshot, record the trophies, everything like that.
Oh yes,
it's always done better on PlayStation. Xbox still have not quite got it the same, and it just feels alien to try and do. And also the fact that there is a built-in mic in the controller is shit, but it's there if you haven't got one, and you can mute yourself. But yeah, the touchpad, I think needs to go with PS6. They need to just make the design.
Oh, I'm gonna stop you there. Sorry. Sorry for cutting you off, Jontis. You're doing an HD. Because that's the next question.
Yes,
but you know what?
HD.
But you know what? We'll just.
That's me.
I will say the question, and you carry on with your trail of thought.
Okay.
What would you like to see happen in the next PlayStation console generation? Take it away.
So, is this me? You want me to
Yes,
carry on? Yeah.
that's you.
you,
Carry
all
on.
you.
Now you can carry on.
Let's break this down into the console itself, the
Yeah.
controller, maybe peripherals, and the games.
Okay.
We'll quickly go through them all because it's just easier.
Go.
So obviously, controller, literally keep it the exact same. Maybe improved battery life. Let us have multiple designs, like you just said, and get rid of the touchpad and just put either some nice aesthetic stuff there or minimize the top. I don't know. Maybe make more room for I don't know, putting your own face plates on or something. They could do anything with that. In terms of the actual console, I totally understand why the PS5 is so big. You know, it's cooling. They don't want the aeroplane again.
Yes.
But it needs to be smaller. I don't really care what it looks like, but next time it's got to be a bit smaller.
Yeah. If I can,
sorry, go on.
If I can interject there, because that's basically my gripe as well. That it's like the design is cool. You know, it definitely gets your attention, but it's not practical like the Xbox One. You know, I know people can say, "Oh, it's just a simple square," but that fits.
It works.
A fridge.
It fits.
A
Yes.
mini fridge.
Yes, but that's my main gripe with the next PlayStation 6. I want it to be something like that, a nice, smooth design that can fit anywhere. You know.
The PS4 was the PS4 Slim or Pro was a better design than the 5 in terms of looks, but not practicality of the actual overheating and all that shit. But yeah, for the actual console, 30% smaller, and it needs to come with a 1 terabyte SSD standard. Because 500 is just too small. If it's more expensive, I don't care. I don't want to be going, I've got to go in the console and take this out and put this in and all that. It has to have a disk drive. I don't care if it's detachable or you have to buy it separate or there's 2 versions again. Don't make me go all digital. I like the option of both, depending on sales, you know, what games I want to do, all that. I think, realistically, what needs to happen with the console in terms of what it does as a standard, keep all the things you're doing right now. If we've not already got them, I want themes back. I want to be able to customize the UI. And also, potentially, I'd like the ability to put multiple discs in at once. Maybe have a storage thing inside that can flick the discs around. You know, do something different. But I don't think that's...
If I can I interject again, Jontis?
Yeah.
Okay. I was actually thinking about this before we came on. You know, like you're playing your game, you switch off your PlayStation 5, you put it on sleep, you come back the next day, put it on, and you're right to where you were when you left it, right? I love that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Obviously, with disc versions, I don't think it will work. But if you're HD and you're sellout and just buy digital games, I love you HD.
Screw you, man.
You know, you'd be able to do that, but with multiple games. So HD is I'm gonna do Death Stranding. You know what? I'm a bit bored now. Exit to main menu. Let me put on my friend Peppa Pig. And just
basically
do that.
What the Xbox does. I mean, I don't see why you'd be playing 3 games at once, but I get the ability is nice. So yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I've got ADHD. I'd probably do that more than anyone, but I don't know. But yeah, everything standard needs to be 1440p, 60 FPS minimum. Minimum.
Yeah.
Stop trying to get to 8K. At 4K, it should be an option with 30. Or what I want is 1080p 120, 1440p 60, 4K 30. But by the end of the next generation, it needs to be 4K 120 FPS constantly. And then leave it at that. There's no need to keep pumping it up constantly. 4K will last another decade at least. That's technology-wise, size-wise, you can storage and all that. Again, like I said, the controller doesn't really need a lot of changes. You could do some gimmicky stuff. I mean, maybe it could come with PSVR 3 and it's just a pair of glasses. I'd be impressed. I don't think it's going to happen yet. I'd also like the ability potentially to customize the console, like let me kind of maybe it comes as a standard thing, but you can add design things on, like,
Yeah.
or maybe I can expand the storage, I can expand the processor, like you can, like a mini PC.
Like
Yeah, I was about to
PC.
say
Could
that.
be.
Yeah.
Apart from that, like literally with the games, I want to see less open world games. I'm tired of it. I really think that
Or
that
maybe more
trope's gone.
streamlined at
Yeah,
least, like God of War.
less open world games, less online kind of service games,
That's here to stay, man.
not shovelware because it's the the platinum stuff, but just less of this kind of crap that's on the store. Like, let the store be, here's all the big games, here's all the indies, here's all the AAAs, and here's your crappy cheap shit that you'll do for a platinum. Like, that's fine, but make it more streamlined, make it all like that. And I've been, apart from that.
Oh, that's a tall order, Jontis. That's
I know,
only
shit,
that?
bro.
Only that?
I only sit. My only gripe was like, yo, just make this thing more square, bro. Jontis is like,
I'm saying like
yeah,
this
like
is,
pie in the
if I
sky,
could
pie in
see
the sky, right?
if I could
Yeah.
see anything I wanted, that is
Yeah,
everything I could
that's it.
think of.
Agreed.
But what will likely happen is you'll probably get a bigger hard drive. It'll probably be a bit smaller. And stuff like that. I mean,
Yeah.
there's a big conspiracy. I don't know if you guys know why there's not themes anymore. It's because part of the contract of the games and all that is tied to advertising. That when you hover over a square, your game is advertised, the sales are advertised, all this is advertised. It's minimal space to show you, whoa, you can buy this, you can buy that. And I agree. I mean, I'll let you guys go on about what you want anyway, because I've rambled.
That ties in very closely to that. That's because we got to understand this, like, guys, is like you mentioned now, and I think this is what has changed games for the most fundamentally over time, right? It's because games and gaming consoles and video games in general has become more of a business with
True.
each year that passes, right? So, I mean, you were talking about that customizable, customizing the console and, having it. I don't see the marketability around that. That's why Sony's been cranking down on the people that's making the faceplates for PS5 and all these things because they were going to release their own. But anyway, what I would really love is again a nice a bit more of a minimalistic design. If we're looking at the design of the console, you made a very good point. Minimum, it can be 1080p, it can be 4K, it can be whatever, but minimum frame rate should be 60 frames per second. I'd like for them, we're talking now UI and just functionality. I'd like for them to add, and this goes back into what we were talking about now, advertising and all of those things, and why themes have been removed. I would love for them to add back the activity feed from PS4. And
yes,
you know what?
yes.
You can, if you want, if they were, you can tie it into levels of PS Plus or whatever, where you don't want ads. But you can, if you don't have PS Plus or you have PS Plus Essential, for instance, you scroll down that feed, you can have your adverts there, right? In between posts of friends getting this trophy, or I love that activity feed, and even the PlayStation app that we had before. I don't know if you guys remember it. Before we had the big update, the activity feed was on there as well. And I really quite like that, seeing friends get trophies, get plats, and commenting
Oh yeah,
on it.
PS6 needs to have
Simple,
home.
but really cool. And it was a very social side, a very social kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And then this isn't really a big thing that I'd like, but it would be cool to have it. I don't see why we can't have it. But on the cross media bar for PS4 and 5, I mean, PS3 and 4 were really cool. The UI or the game hub menu on PS5, it took a lot getting used to. But the cross media bar and having the functionality of storing your pictures, your music, and your videos on there. I still have my PS3 with like old pictures and wallpapers that I saved there because it was my backgrounds and all the themes, and that was really cool.
Good times, good times.
And
Also,
last. Oh, carry on. Yeah.
I just want to interject as well here. PS4 came with the editor for your saved clips.
Oh, Share Factory.
Yeah, I think that should come.
Cool.
That should come back.
That was pretty cool.
That's already in the PS5, but the thing is, it's the
share functionality.
That's all been inbuilt into the PS5.
Yeah, it's not the whole app, a separate one. It's literally part of the
Okay.
I'll tell you
in the
one
share
thing as
function
well
of it.
that needs to come on the PS6, in my opinion, right? Whether it's digital or disc,
Mhm.
I want to be able to play every single generation so far.
There, he's doing it again. You're doing it again. Shush. Okay,
Okay,
okay.
let me just finish. Let me just finish
Yes,
on
HC,
this
go,
on my
go.
what I want, right?
Yeah.
Lastly, with regards to the GUI or like the user interface at least, I'd like for them, and this goes in line with what you were saying now, starting up games really quick and stuff. And I don't. Do you guys use the switcher function on your PS5 often?
No, never.
So I use it almost every day, right? So especially when I'm plat hunting and stuff, instead because I don't have my phone or my laptop or anything close to me, so I will queue up a video on YouTube, like a collectible video or whatever, and I'll use the switcher to switch between that video and the game while I'm playing. But I just like for that to be a bit more like on PS4. I think you could just you could switch between screens, but you just
Oh,
double tapped
yeah.
the PS button and it switched it. And this one you have to press the button, go to switcher, press on switcher, scroll down to the game or the app that you want
Yeah.
to switch to, and it's very you have to press a few buttons. Just a double tap or
Yes.
a triple tap of the PS button to switch apps would be cool.
But you know, it'd be even cooler, HD. You know, like when you game share, right? Your game, if I'm not mistaken, if we game share right now on the screen, 90% is you playing, and there's a window of me or what I'm doing, or is it the other way around?
But like, are you talking about Pip,
No,
the picture in
when you
picture?
game share, you just say, look, when you like, yo, Danny, watch this game, and you game share me, send an invite. When I go in, what am I seeing? What's it? There's two
You'll
screens,
see
right?
my screen. Yeah, well,
I'll see.
yeah.
But which screen is bigger, your screen or my screen?
So you can, with the pip function on PS5, you can do it either half screen or you can have it in either. You can have a smaller
Yeah,
screen
it
of
can be
Yeah.
what you're watching
corner,
in.
Yeah.
You
to
can
the
be
side, or
corners.
full screen.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I can
So now,
watch you play, and
okay.
yeah.
Now, where I'm going with this is like for you, right? You're a trophy hunter. You don't have a PC like I do right next to you. When I trophy hunt and I've got a guide, I've got look at the PC, then I look at the controller. What
I
if
think I know where you're going with this.
yes, with the
Let's hear it. Let's hear
switcher,
it.
you go like, okay, I need a video for all the collectibles, like where they are, and when you and put that in the top left
Basically,
or
YouTube
core.
videos in the corner of your
Ooh,
screen or the
Yes.
side, so you can watch it as and when.
that
But
would be cool.
I've got one better.
Okay.
The PS5 can have multiple HDMI. The PS6 can have multiple HDMI's coming out the back, which means you can have dual screen console. One screen's your game, one screen is the UI of the PlayStation,
Ooh.
doing other things, and you
Ooh.
can do other things as you game, and all you have to do is use the touchpad, and they keep it.
And it
Well,
switches.
you know what? I think this stuff will eventually come because the consoles, every generation, are
become
becoming
PC.
more. Yes, just more thing. But anyway,
Absolutely.
so all right, just to end this section off.
I
Okay.
literally just have one more thing to say then,
Okay,
sorry,
go,
before
go,
we
go.
carry on.
Go
and
on.
This is more
I'll allow it.
I'll be quick. This is more around game design, right? And I'd like, again, with like I was mentioning about the roguelike games, but it can be used in any sort of game, right? And have these sort of procedurally generated worlds, but have game designers make use of AI to develop their games. But I'm talking about live. Like when you sign onto a server and you play in a game like GTA 5, just using that as an example, just to have like an AI that sort of makes changes in the game
Okay.
to certain things in the game, be it themes or acclimates to your style of play, or dialogue will be and I'm not talking about like pre-recorded stuff, like pre-recorded million lines of dialogue. A game that
Well, the
acclimates
thing
to your
is,
style of play and who
yeah,
you are in the game, kind of thing.
but you're treading on dangerous territory here because AI developed games and scripts and voices they're frowned on at the moment because you're taking work away from other people. I know where you're coming from. It's not a bad idea, but it's like you're going to screw a lot of people over.
Contention. Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's a matter of contention right now. I understand that, but I'm not thinking about like taking people's jobs or anything. There has to
Yeah.
be someone. I mean, there's literal jobs out there right now for what is it?
Being a lifeguard at the Olympic swimming competition.
No, people that actively it's their job to use like ChatGPT or something.
Yeah.
What is it? I forget the term now. If I remember it,
All
I'll
right.
mention it. But
Okay.
yeah, anyway, just
All
tie
right.
that into game development and
Correct.
in some
So
way.
we are 3 years in. This is the end question. Just to end the section off. We are 3 years into the PS5. When do you think, or how long do you think this generation will last? Basically when will the PS6 come out?
I think what we're 3 years in at the minute.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to cut this generation off sooner because of this, all the other issues they've had because of lockdown. So I think 20. What are we on now? 2023. I think
Yeah.
we'll have PS5 for another solid 4 years. So I think we'll have another 4 years of PS5, but by 2026, I think we'll know about the PS6, and it'll probably come by the end of 2026, early 2027. I think we'll move on quicker with this
Good
one because the
timeline.
last one took too long.
Yeah,
It's a good timeline.
I'm more or less in the same ballpark. I was going to say 2028.
Yeah,
8-year run.
latest. I think the absolute latest, 2028 Christmas.
Yeah, HD. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. And I was thinking along another 4 or 5 years. Roughly, they try and make consoles like 8 to 10
10-year.
years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it makes sense. And I mean PS5s. I mean, it really only started becoming available in the last year or so, readily available in the stores that you can walk into a store and buy a
Yeah.
PlayStation 5.
Crazy.
You know what I mean? I mean, they
Lapsin
literally,
bought two at
dude,
launch.
they are literally still making PS4 versions of games. There's never been a console generation
Yeah.
where this far
Let
into
it
the
die,
generation
please.
that they're
Don't
still
worry.
making games for previous generation.
Yeah. 2 more years.
It's
2 more years,
yeah.
and
It's
PS4 is
just
dead.
John Coffrey going, "I'm tired, boss." Like,
I'm tired, boss.
that's right.
HD.
PS4
Give me a
was
year.
too old when it came out with the actual technology. It needs to die. Kill it.
Leave it in the past if you must.
2028. I say 2028.
Okay, all right. Let's move on to the next question. I'm sorry, boss.
I'm pretty sure that submarine that just imploded probably was powered by a PS4 fan. That's probably why.
This is getting very dark very quickly, just like them. Anyway.
Yeah, not as dark as the depths they were at, though.
Oh, good lord. Here we have good old-fashioned family-friendly humor.
Yeah.
Right. After 5 generations, there are thousands of games in the PlayStation library, right? But some could argue even lost to time. What are your thoughts on game preservation, and what can Sony do to improve help with this HD?
Ooh,
HD.
silent?
I think you probably.
I put myself on mute.
Okay,
I mean,
let's-
it's after years.
Oh God!
you-
Why?
3
Why
years,
do?
it's
Why
been
do I
3
do
years
this
that
to myself?
I've been doing Teams calls and Skype calls, and you ask someone a question, they're like, "Oh, by the way, you on mute," and I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it.
Yeah.
That was one of the questions when I saw it. I was like, "This is a very interesting one," because I mean, for me personally, I get very nostalgic. I mean, anybody that's listening to this podcast and hearing us talk and waffle on about the things we waffle on about can get an idea of how much we love video games, right?
Of course,
but
of
it's
course.
all cemented, it's all rooted in our experiences in the past and, our journey that's brought us to this very podcast right now, right? And that's why it makes me very partial to these channels on YouTube. I think the one is called Vice TV. Vice is in WEISS. Vice TV. I could be mispronouncing it, but this YouTube channel, like literally 24 hours a day, live streams old PS1 games, but not just the classic ones, like very odd ones, very unique ones. Like I literally, I keep coming back to this game, but and Jontis, you also mentioned you played this, was Nightmare Creatures, and all these very odd PS1 games. So anyway, long story short, it would be really cool if Sony had something like, do you remember? what's it called? Not
PS
PlayStation, not
PS
PlayStation
Plus
Now.
Premium.
It was no wait, man. It was like not PlayStation Now. Do you remember on PS3 there was um, this weird thing that you'd open up this app and it would
Hmm.
show the globe, like the Earth, and if you had this, it was the fold-in app or something. PS3
Okay.
fold-in. Do you remember? Do you guys remember that?
No.
No.
Sorry.
Just
No idea.
when we get off this, just Google
Yeah, just
the
get out your
folding
PlayStation
network.
3 and connect it.
Anyway, so every time you opened up this app, you generated processing power for Stanford University in the States to I don't know, they were using it for some sort of experiment. I can't remember. I'm actually I'm butchering this explanation, right? But
Yeah,
long
okay.
story short, it must be some community-driven sort of feature or
Project.
function where project
Yeah.
where you anybody people all around the world, there's collectors, there's people that have these old games lying around and stuff, where you can somehow um,
Make a public
digitize it
library.
or make a public library or something.
Yeah.
Like I know this is, it'll never happen because again it goes back to how do you market and advertise, doing
Licensing.
that
Yeah.
and licensing and all of those things. But I mean, one massive public library of people that can sort of, take their physical games and like upload it somehow to this library.
Yeah, but then
Um,
I can make the argument that it shouldn't have to be fall on us. That Sony should be making these games readily available.
It's
I
almost
hear you.
like, right, I'll tell you something, it's almost like they should have a 3-tier system where the
Okay.
most
Uh-huh.
expensive tier system,
Mhm.
they
Mhm.
can charge you to have all
Mhm.
these games, and I don't
Yes.
mind paying again to keep them,
Yes. Go
but
on. Go on.
it's like they're not uploading any games to it that are worth playing or decent or varied, and they're just kind of sitting on it. Now, whether that's license issues, we don't know.
Uh-huh.
But
But
honestly, premium is just being slept on. I don't understand what is going on with it.
don't make me
But I
go
say
off
that
now. Don't make me go off on premium, please, because I bought premium because of the of
Same.
the of the PS1 game classics are coming, and they've been literal months
It's been
to.
a year, and
I mean,
there's like 6 games I would potentially play that aren't really that big on my, list, I
yeah.
guess.
But the thing is, one thing is for them to put like say 5 PS1 games, and you're like, oh, none of these games tickle my fancy. That's one thing, you know. Another
Yeah.
thing is it's been 2 or 3 months go by, and they've put on Ridge Racer for the PlayStation One. I'm like, oh, thank you, you know.
Yeah, it's just not enough to stay kind of invested and keep paying it. And yes, there will be people who just go, right, I've got tier 3, I've gone for money, I don't care if I'm pissing money away.
Yeah.
But the majority of people will go up and down the tiers depending what's happening on what month. You need to make tier 2. I've stayed on for like the whole time because it's worth it. There's a library of games, I'll download stuff, play it, delete it, whatever. But tier 3, I haven't had since the first 2 months simply because, yeah, I enjoy Siphon Filter. Yeah, I enjoyed Ape Escape. Yeah, I enjoyed Resident Evil. There's been nothing of merit since, in my opinion, for me and for a lot of people I know.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Ape Escape when it came out, I got that, platinumed it, enjoyed it, tripped down nostalgia away, and then, like you say, Silent Hill, not Silent Hill, sorry. What did you say? The one of the spy,
Oh, Siphon Filter.
Siphon Filter. Thank you, Siphon Filter one. Oh, okay, I'm interested in that. I'll probably do it, but I don't do it.
I
But
think what's
that's
going
on
to
me.
happen is
Yeah.
remakes, remasters, and re-license ports like LA Noire I've just bought for the
Hmm.
PS4, play it on the PS5. The Metal Gear Solid collection that's coming, the Master Collection, which is going to be every single Metal Gear game in volumes because they're going to do 4 because they have to. They can't call it the Master Collection and not
Hmm.
have one of the penultimate game.
I mean, that's why they called it Volume One, and obviously Volume Two
Exactly.
is coming out. Hmm.
Yeah, whether that comes within a year or two, we don't know because it'll
Hmm.
be licensing, porting the game over. But I think the only way now is while you have this generation, the PS5,
Hmm.
buy as many PS1 to PS4 games you can, PS5 games, keep them because at some point they are going to start saying, even though you bought this game digitally, we don't have the license anymore. It's no longer playable because we've already seen it, and this is
a la
why.
Deadpool.
Yeah, this is why I've stopped buying digital games now, unless it's something dirt cheap off the store just to play around with, or it's like midnight release and I just want to play it, but I'll pick up a physical anyway, because I've seen it too many times. Dead by Daylight with the Netflix Stranger Things, that you can't buy Steve and Nancy, the Demogorgon, or play the map anymore. If you've got them already, you can, but Strange Things basically said, no, we want so many million, and they don't want to pay it, so the license ended. And the reason that MGS Collection got delisted apparently was license issues, but now
that's
we
bullshit,
know it was bullshit because they're just bringing it out again. So, yeah.
I mean, with what they did with the MGS is because they want to package it and sell it. That gives me hope that Dino Crisis they'll do the same, because there's no reason why they can't put that on premium.
There's no, well, it leaked for the Asian premium market ages ago, but apparently, I think now someone just assumed it was coming, or maybe put it for the wrong month. I don't know. If it's not with us by October this year, it's not coming, in my opinion. I think there's something going on with Capcom. They just are allergic to doing anything, even releasing it. Like, where is the classic 1 to 3 collection of Resident Evil on the platforms? Like, Anyway, we'll get into a tangent of negativity, aren't we? So
but it fuels me. But then what can Sony do? Because like there are
by Capcom.
Besides by Capcom, not just for Dino Crisis, but I mean, why can't Sony just take all their PS1 and PS2 games and say, boom, here they are on premium, play them whenever you want?
For me, it's got to be the case of licensing, copyright, ownership, publishing, or it's loads of business higher ups that are
I understand. I know. I understand, but I don't. You know what I'm saying?
I understand the business sense of it's probably a lot of red tape, but at the same time, it's like, okay, there's a lot of red tape. I am willing to pay premium price just to have the game digitally or released as a box physical. I would pay, I'm not even joking, because I'm nostalgic for it and I love it, I would pay £50 for Dino Crisis on PS5, even if it's just the old game with like HD textures and trophies, because I'm willing to do that as a fan.
And updated controllers.
Yeah, updated control, like basically the GTA remasters. I don't see why people hate them. There's issues, but I don't get it.
So this is basically all of us saying buy physical.
Yeah, buy physical, because the more people that keep buying physical, the better. I mean, you've seen what happens with like Netflix and stuff. Can't password share anymore. What happens when they turn around and say you can't game share anymore? And this is the issue. I would honestly say don't game share now, because I stopped game sharing with my ex. Obviously, that's a personal issue. But say that you break up with someone, or you fall out with a friend, or Sony go, right, we're not allowing game sharing anymore. You've lost half your library from 2 generations. So it's just not worth it anymore. Keep buying physical as much as you can. And now I'm getting regular money from a new job. I will be buying a load of physical games. I keep checking CEX in our town, which is like a used kind of game place, and they've got Dino Crisis 2 for £40, and I will probably buy that, even though it's not the one I want. It's still a cool game. It's still a classic game. They've got Medieval 2, stuff like that.
Well, buy me a copy and send it to me. I want those. Come on, Johnny.
I'm back, by the way, guys.
I know. If HD, unfortunately.
Hey, look, if it isn't load shedding, it's my potato internet, eh?
Yes, but we'll forgive you. We forgive you. If before we finish with this topic, HD, which is the what's it called? The game preservation. Do you want to add anything to it?
No, just what I was saying before I got disconnected was, I mean, I really think Sony's dropping the ball with Deluxe. I don't understand why they don't just release all the library but specifically with trophy support. I mean, game preservation, it's freaking their games. Just release it. Why
Yeah.
do you not want money? Why? Why don't you want money?
Exactly. I want to give you money.
I will give you
Sony.
I want to give you my money. Just
Yeah.
give you the
Yeah.
games. And just
Okay.
on the physical versus digital, I think for guys like you, that both of you that enjoy the physical copy, and I enjoy it myself as well. I mean, nothing compares to
The
back in the day.
convenience of digital
Getting
is
getting
ruining
a
it, basically.
getting a 100% a physical copy of that game, and you're on your way home and you open it up and you're looking at the disc and you're reading through the booklet and just the physical
Oh yeah, bring back
nature
books.
of it
I don't care about the
is
trees.
Oh,
I don't care
the
about the trees,
best.
okay? Give me a book.
yeah.
Yeah,
Fuck,
no one cares
fuck
about
them
it.
trees.
Yeah, fuck
Deforestation.
them trees.
No. If
And
we've got,
PTR has now been demonetized.
and I'll tell you something as well. Stop with the DVD boxes. Go back to the PS1
The
style boxes.
square ones.
They're smaller. They look cool. It's nostalgic. Takes up less room. You could
Yeah,
include a booklet
yeah.
because there's loads of recyclable paper now. You could just do
There
that.
we go. There we go. And I remember the first time I saw the thin cover, like it was literally a CD cover. It was on
Oh, yeah, I've
a
seen those.
game. I don't know if you guys ever played this game. It actually had quite a lot of potential. It was called Chase the Express.
No.
No.
That
Sounds
game
like
on
a
the
drug.
train, yeah.
I was
But
about to say that as well.
but lastly on that physical, guys, something that our kids and our kids' kids and or just kids in
Exactly.
general these days
Exactly.
will not. No, listen to what I'm going to say. Will
Okay.
not be able to experience is go into the video store and renting games. Okay, first of all, they won't be able to experience video stores.
True. R.I.P.
But
Blockbuster.
man, RIP all the video stores. But that was that. We were talking about iconic moments of gaming as a kid. Was me
Yeah.
spending an hour, 2 hours in the video store just trying to pick the one game my mom said I could get. And every time I came home with Hercules for some odd reason. I came home like 3-4 times with Hercules.
Hey, that was a
But,
good game.
It was a good game, but digital versus physical, it should be a choice. Look at Alan Wake now. It's only getting Alan
Yeah.
Wake 2 is only getting a digital release, but it's much cheaper. With the rise in price of games and the manufacturing cost
How
of
do
games, they're
digital
gonna
games cost more when it
because
costs
they don't have to
less?
manufacture. They don't have to spend on manufacturing the
Yeah, but
discs.
why do digital games cost £70? They
Still.
should be costing
Oh,
half as much because
Yeah.
there's no packaging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Digital
No, but
has got no case if they're charging the same for physical. I'm sorry.
No, but
I'm gonna buy
it's
physical.
it's not just about
Also, stop making
charging
collector's
cheaper.
editions that don't have the damn games with them.
Preach,
Like,
brother, preach!
honestly, this is
Hallelujah!
What? Who does that?
Steelbook Spider-Man with no disc. Baldur's Gate 3 is getting a physical PS5 release collector's edition with the game. There's no
Are you
excuse,
saying
Insomniac.
you get like a code to download the game or something?
No. Spider-Man, you get a steelbook with a code inside. Starfield, you buy a regular disc copy that has no disc and has a code in. They're not doing physical discs, but Baldur's Gate 3 has a PS5 collector's edition with the disc in it. It's really rare to see that.
Okay.
I know. We need more of that.
Yeah, it's stupid. Why not include the disc?
Exactly.
It's £300
That's weird.
for that Spider-Man thing.
True.
Jeez.
I want that disc. Yes, the collector's edition with no discs. That's got to go. Like I know the reason why is because obviously we still got the 2 generations, but it's like Jontis says. What's the current one? PS5. So the collector's edition is only PS5. I'm sorry, PS4. It is what it is. Buy it now.
At least you get in the game, okay? Be happy.
Yes.
Get in the damn game.
All right. Now I'm gonna cut this question now because we are on 1 hour and 43 minutes, and there's one more question
Nice.
I want to do, and then we have to end off this podcast because
Cool.
It's I mean I've enjoyed every minute of this, but this is a big one.
Waffle.
It's a big one. Yes. All right. So last question: PlayStation VR brought virtual reality gaming to mainstream, and I use air quotations when I say mainstream. What are your thoughts on this immersive technology and its potential for the future? And I'll just start by saying, Big L, don't buy. Why? take your L's, and the gif of the dude just throwing L's at the screen. That's my take on VR.
Got you. I got a very similar take. I think it's just another gimmick that Sony's trying. Anything outside of like mainstream video games, like even when they go handhelds or peripherals like Guitar Hero, or the Move, or things like that, right? I think it has its value, and but it never lasts. None of these things
HD guy is
last.
literally my soulmate. He's like got the exact same thoughts. Look, for me, it's
I only
simple
speak the
as.
truth, brother. I only speak
For
the
me,
truth.
it's simple as
But yeah,
gaming is me, a controller, and a screen. That
correct.
is it.
I agree.
VR is another gimmick, just like 3D, just like the Wii Fit, all that kind of stuff. I'm telling you now, PSVR 2 has not sold well, so I don't think they'll do a third one.
Yeah.
The thing
I
is,
think they'll hold off.
Yeah, it's a niche within a niche within a niche.
You've got to have a PS5,
niche
which is hard
exception.
still to get, and then you've got to have enough money to get a PSVR, and you've got to have enough space. And all this and other thing, until VR is a pair of glasses and a morph suit like fucking Ready Player One, I don't care. And even then, I don't want to be myself in a game. I want to play as a character.
You want to be Solid Snake?
Yeah,
Or
I
Big
want
Boss?
to. I want to sit in a chair with my balls on the seat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as you do,
Oh, nice.
as you do.
Nice,
and
as
just
one
play a
does.
game. I don't want to have to
Yeah.
go into like some sort of drone walking machine, walk around, wear a suit, put glasses on, and be like, "Hi guys, it's me, but this is my avatar."
Look,
Like,
I agree, and that only because I'm a gamer, but I'm also a parent. So like a lot of the time I'm doing both at the same time.
let
And how am
Nintendo
I
do it.
gonna
They love doing stuff like that.
how am I gonna see my son standing on the fridge with two knives, jumping off, shouting Ninja Turtles?
Exactly.
If I've got a VR headset on my
Hunting-
you know
Oh,
what I mean?
just let me take all this off and just like. But
Yeah.
I will say, they're doing a happy medium of we don't want to make a Vita 2. They clearly don't because making direct games for it kind of failed and they didn't really support it. So they've gone, here's a handheld that's basically a controller with a phone screen,
Okay.
and
There
you
we go.
can sit on your bed and sit on your sofa and play virtually on your own Wi-Fi or on a different Wi-Fi with a bit of kind of wires, shall we say?
I fully support that, but I can't support that it's only Wi-Fi, as in you have to be in the same house for that to work.
I
sorry.
think you have to be
That's lame.
on the same. I think you can be on a different Wi-Fi, but you have to have your PS5 in rest mode or something like that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
what they said was, if the game is installed on your PS5 and you're in the same house, your PS5 will be in rest mode and it will do all the work and just project it to the thing, and you shouldn't have any latency. But if the game is being streamed directly to it, you're gonna have a bit of like 30 FPS,
Yeah.
I'm gonna get one if it's no more than 250 quid to do my first tech review on a gamey thing. But if it's any more than that, I'll wait for reviews because the Steam Deck is really cool, and I've been waiting to get one because I'm waiting for like a price drop and it just to get all the kinks worked out.
Man,
If
I'm
they can
telling
do actually, if they can do a Nintendo Switch for the PlayStation 5 for when you're traveling, yes.
Yeah.
But
Man,
no.
they are absolutely missed the bus, drop the ball. All of these things when it comes to this. I don't know what they're trying with this new handheld thing with Sony, right? Vita, it still has a large fan base, and it was really big for indie games, and there was years after Sony stopped supporting its own platform, there were developers supporting it, right? That I think out of all the things that Sony tried, I mean PSP obviously was
That was a good
big
looking
one.
handheld.
It was big. It was big, and I had a PSP Go as well, and that I absolutely love. But PS Vita was peak handheld for me. I'm of the minority of people that will defend it till death. Because I absolutely love that console. It's in my cupboard right now. It's bloody broken, but I wish I had a Vita.
I don't know why they don't just make something called like the PlayStation Lite, and it's literally just a handheld PS5. Like, they literally people would people would pay like 300, 400 quid for that, easy. Even if it can't do certain games, or the PS5 has to be on, it has to be in the same house again for certain games. But say it's PS4 level graphics with a bit of PS5.
But
where
that's
it can.
acceptable. That's acceptable. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's what the Steam Deck is. It's like a PS4 level console handheld, but does PC games. But it just, to me, it just seems silly. Like the marketing on the wrong thing. And I think they've realised that PSVR 2 is very niche, and more people would prefer a portable. And I think that's why they're testing the waters with this Q Lite. And then what they'll probably do is like another one, or maybe do Vita 2, if it all goes well.
Yeah, I think VR. Well, Xbox hasn't done VR, correct? They've got no VR.
They had Milo, and
they're
the
too busy buying
project.
Bethesda and
Project Missile.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. No, I think VR is
biggest
super niche.
Gaming. I'm sorry, that was the biggest scam in gaming. The Kinect.
I'll add a question onto your podcast because I've got a good one.
Okay.
What company do you think PlayStation is going to buy if this Activision goes through? Because that means they've got Activision and Bethesda. Sony are going to buy it back with buying someone. And in my opinion, it can only be, realistically, one of these two. I think they'll either buy someone like Capcom or someone like Ubisoft. They'll buy up
not Ubisoft,
someone.
Please.
They'll buy up someone who's struggling or doing very well, and kind of turn it on the heads. What do you think?
If Sony had to buy someone, I'd say Capcom. Capcom is on having a really good innings. They are on a good wicket.
Or Square Enix, actually thinking about it.
Or Square Enix as well. A little game that I feel is supremely underrated. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. If you haven't played that, play that freaking game.
Game of the Year
fucking
2021
awesome
for me. I loved that game. It was Game of the Year for me when it came
out.
But
Square Enix will be a good one, or Capcom. Capcom, again, they're on a good wicket.
I think probably Capcom. Yeah, true. Okay. Well, I think that's everything, guys. I mean, I think we've all got families that are probably wondering where we are.
Look, it really, and I must admit, these podcasts, I come into it with the intention, like, to stick on topic and stuff. But I mean, it's it's clear that we got a lot to speak about.
Yeah, but it makes it fun. It makes it interesting.
Yeah,
I'm just here so to control it. And
there's so much I've held back on saying.
I know. the minute we switch this off and we go our separate ways and we're in the shower, we're going to be like, oh shit, I should have said this. Oh, this
game. We're going to remember all those games that we forgot from that. Because I drew a blank when we were talking about all the generational games. I'm ashamed to call myself a gamer. But because there's too many. There's too many.
But anyway.
The thing is, back then, like those generations, they were pumping out games so quick. And now it's like, they've even said it's like 3 to 5 year cycles now instead of it being like 1 to 2. So...
But yeah,
I'm gonna leave you with this. I know you're gonna wrap up now, Dave, but I'm gonna leave you with this.
Okay.
And everyone here with this right now, Jontis, you as well. If it's one thing, another big thing that we ride in this nostalgia train now, and we're reaching the end of the station. I want to leave you with this one thing. Gaming magazines.
Oh gaming magazines, my god! I just busted a nut.
I know, it sounded like it. I heard the pop and everything. I was like, damn.
I literally just studied journalism for 4 years.
Gaming magazines, right? It's obviously it's dead. It's dead. The same way video stores are dead. The same way, we're moving away from physical games. It speaks to your point earlier, Jontis, around when games and the release of them. It was like mysterious. It wasn't readily made available news.
It wasn't like YouTube. You would buy this gameplay.
You would buy a magazine and see little small pictures of a game. You know what I mean?
Or a journalist going, "Oh my god, this certain section happened and it was I've never seen it in a game before."
Absolutely.
But now you just go right.
Gaming news, Google.
You see so much of these games before they even come out, and the mystery around them.
I turn it off
is
now.
gone.
Final Fantasy 16, I've turned it off.
Me too. I can't wait. I can't wait. I played
Yeah.
I played a little bit of the demo, but I switched it off. I'm like, because your progress actually carries on from the demo into
Yeah,
the main game.
I
So I was like, nope.
I
switched it off.
decided on turning off the demo. I played half
But
an hour, turned it off. Was like, no,
yeah,
I'll play it when I play it. I've got too much to play. I'll play it when I play it.
but this is this is actually what I want to leave you guys with. So what I've been actually doing is and don't judge me, okay, right?
Okay. I'll try not to.
Watch the odd ASMR video here and there,
Oh, I do
right?
too all the time.
Yeah.
Don't
And what I've been really grown partial to is video store role
Gaming role
plays and stuff,
plays, yeah.
gaming role plays. But there are videos out there, ASMR videos, of people paging through old video game magazines.
Or demo discs,
And
or
it's
talking about the
so
collections.
freaking
Yeah.
awesome. And it's just like, and they'll pause and they'll talk about the articles and they'll talk about the games at the time. Check it out. If you're nostalgic for video game magazines, check out the
Okay.
video game magazine.
I need to interject here before I lose my train of thought because I don't know if
I'm done.
I don't know if Jontis will know where I'm coming from or seen this program. But HD, we've seen it. I'm sure we've seen it because it was in South Africa when I was there. There was a video game show, right? I need you to bring back memory here. And it used to start up with a robot with a TV for a head.
Cybernet. I
Is
knew
it
you were
Cybernet?
talking about Cybernet. It's called Cybernet. Yeah.
Hold
It
on,
was
let me
every
look.
Friday afternoon at 4:30.
Yes.
Man, I was in primary school when that played. That was, dude, you're talking about the 90s now. You're talking about like
Exactly.
98, 99.
Cybernet TV show. I need to look this
Cybernet,
up.
dude. All you will find. I've
Yes, it
searched
is.
before, and that's why
Thank you, HD.
dude, all you will find is that little image of that robot standing in that little open area, like that little, it's almost VR like
Exactly.
arena thing. Yeah, that's all you'll
Jontis,
find of it.
did you have Cybernet back in the day? Do you know what we're talking about?
Back on when I was younger, the gaming thing, because YouTube wasn't really big then, and what we'd see is like there'd be certain channels that would have gaming shows, or on the actual console you'd have stuff that are hosted by people, and then it became like PlayStation Access, Xbox On. But back in the day, it used to be things like the Gadget Show used to show off games as well, or there'd be specific late night shows that would show like PS2, PS3 era. I can't remember specific names, but
no,
it'd
man,
be like an hour.
That what Danny's talking about. That was basically like what you would see in the video game magazines, but on a TV show.
Yeah.
They would-
I'm
yeah,
gonna
it's
send
basically
you.
what it-
I'm gonna send you a link, Jontis, on
Cybernet.
Discord. Dude, Cybernet was awesome. Okay.
Cybernet
Well,
was awesome.
gentlemen. Okay, everyone go watch Cybernet, please. We need that back. All right. So let's just see how long we've been talking now. 1 hour, 57
long.
minutes, and
That's-
6
There
and
we
17
go.
seconds.
Twice the
There you
length
go.
of my podcast, so you've done well. You've done well.
Oh well, that's what my my wife says every night, Jontis. Bada boom, bada boom. Okay,
Yeah, to
I'm
come
sorry.
along as like girlfriend. It's like, hey, you've got a girlfriend as well.
Yeah, I've got like so many girlfriends. You know, I make
I
sweet
believe
love
you.
every night. Yeah, I mean, I would like
Yeah,
you guys.
for sure. Of course.
All right, now we all know I'm lying. Gamers don't have girlfriends. Gamers never leave the house. Anyway, so guys, everyone, we're gonna call it quits now for today. I think we've done our fair share. Even though I would bet we could still go on for another 2 hours.
100%.
Yeah.
100%.
So HD, thank you for coming back and having regular internet that works sometimes. Jontis, always a pleasure to have you on. I hope to
Thank you, dude.
I hope to be on your show, which is IJN. Just want to shout that out.
IJN, not IGN. I don't
Yeah.
work for IGN.
Yes, IJN. It's Jontis News, and hopefully, when I'm on there, I won't have a family emergency. My internet won't go off all of a sudden, and I'll use the right microphone.
Yeah.
No.
Get outta here.
No. Those things have generally happened, HD, on my end.
On your end? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he's left every episode since the pilot. So
Yeah, it's like oh, I've had such bad luck on his show. It's just unbelievable. But anyway, that's what makes
horrible.
it. But anyway, okay. So thank you both for joining. Thank you everyone for watching and listening. And if you've made it this far, Hey,
Yeah. Well done. Kudos.
you're real G.
You're a real
So,
G.
You're a real G.
You're a real
See you
G.
soon, guys.
See everyone.
Cool.
Okay.
Jontis,
Bye bye,
cheers, buddy.
Jontis. Bye bye, HD. And
Cheers,
I
Danny
will
boy.
see you all next time. Cheerio.
Peace.